you've observed this not just as the minister, you've seen this telecom grow as an industrialist for many years. What, according to you, is that one aspect of India's story? And I'm asking this because there are several countries which don't know perhaps where to start in terms of establishing both a financial infrastructure as well as a governance infrastructure, while we seem to have made great progress. What do you think is that one aspect that you think has defined India's move forward in this area?
I think it is not, and I think the one big difference between how technology has been used and viewed in the post-2014 India versus the pre-2014 India is that in the pre-2014 India, the narrative about technology, and I'm not saying it's bad narrative or good narrative, was essentially about, oh, it's a great area, there's a lot of billionaires being created, lots of companies, lots of innovation, a lot of jobs, a lot of investment coming in, and it was part of the general economy, and this was a sector that was about 3 to 4% of the GDP. Post-2014, there is a conscious effort to embed technology into governance. And I always say this to audiences who don't know this. Pre-2014, India and our state governments have spent over 5-6 lakh crores in what has been euphemistically referred to as e-governance. So there have been multiple thousands and lakhs of crores spent by state governments on e-governance, but in 2014 there was still no platform or there was no framework. There were multiple independent solutions floating around with different pieces of people developing it, but there was no overall framework, there was no overall government of India architecture, there was no governance architecture. Post-2014, we had a political leader who understood the power of technology to improve governance. He made maximum governance his goal, which is our Prime Minister, and said, how will I use technology to deliver on that? Then the two became fused. And then you had solutions like UPI, you had an Aadhaar, which was a completely redesigned, rejuvenated Aadhaar, and you had the concept of a stack, which is Aadhaar, the UPI for payment, DigiLocker for storage, and all of these other layers that then came up. And frankly, if that vision and that clarity and that architecture had not been put into place before the COVID pandemic in 2020, we would be really floundering. We would be really we would have had a very difficult time during COVID. But the fact that we had built this architecture, built this framework, and it was already impacting governance and people's lives in a very real way is what helped us during the pandemic. And in a lot of ways today, the case study of India as seen by countries of the G20 and beyond is because of how technology helped us during this one really black swan event that all of the world experienced.